The analysis focuses on 6 key countries: India, United States, Brazil, Nigeria, Russia, and Australia. These countries are examined in the context of demographic shifts and their potential impacts. The study investigates the relationship between demographic tipping points and economic vitality. It also explores the connection between demographic changes and military projection capabilities. The core theme is the influence of population dynamics on national power and prosperity. Demographic tipping points represent critical thresholds in population dynamics. These points signify a level where population changes begin to exert significant impacts. These impacts are primarily observed in a nation's economic capacity. They also affect its military strength and overall strategic capabilities. Crossing a demographic tipping point can lead to either recoverable adjustments. Alternatively, it may initiate an irreversible decline in a nation's power and influence. The working age population, defined as individuals aged 15 to 64, significantly influences economic growth. A working age share below 55% typically leads to a slowdown in economic growth. When the working age share falls below 50%, economic recovery becomes challenging. Recovery in such cases often requires substantial immigration or significant productivity improvements. The old age dependency ratio measures the number of retirees relative to the working age population. A high ratio indicates a larger proportion of elderly individuals relying on a smaller workforce. When the ratio exceeds 35 retirees per 100 workers, fiscal strain on the economy intensifies. Beyond 50 retirees per 100 workers, pension and healthcare expenditures significantly increase. This surge in costs can crowd out crucial investments in other vital sectors of the economy. Total fertility rate, TFR, is a key demographic indicator. A sustained TFR of is less than or equal to 1.5 suggests a significant long-term population decline. A TFR of is less than or equal to 1.3 is considered a low fertility trap. Recovery from a low fertility trap is rare without substantial immigration. Population decline impacts a nation's military strength and economic stability. A 10–15% cumulative population decline from its peak is potentially recoverable through policy interventions. These interventions aim to boost birth rates, improve healthcare, or stimulate economic growth. However, a 20–30% decline often results in irreversible losses in military manpower and the tax base. Recovery from such significant losses typically requires transformative immigration policies or widespread automation. Persistent depopulation in major metropolitan areas diminishes the concentration of talent and resources. This decline weakens innovation ecosystems as fewer individuals interact and collaborate. A shrinking urban core also impacts defense industrial ecosystems, reducing the workforce available for critical sectors. Consequently, this erosion of both innovation and defense capabilities weakens overall economic and military capacity. India is recognized as a rapidly expanding major economy. Its economic growth is significantly driven by the manufacturing sector. The service sector also contributes substantially to India's economic expansion. A robust digital infrastructure supports the growth of both sectors. This infrastructure enhances efficiency and connectivity across industries. India's economic landscape is characterized by this dual-sector strength and digital support. India possesses a large standing military force, ranking among the world's largest. The Indian Air Force is undergoing modernization, enhancing its operational capabilities. The Indian Navy is also expanding and modernizing, increasing its maritime presence. These advancements contribute to India's growing air and naval power projection. India's defense industry is experiencing growth, reducing reliance on foreign imports. This expansion supports the development of indigenous military technologies and production capabilities. India faces a potential population decline scenario. This scenario involves a population decrease of up to 10% below its peak. It also includes a reduction in the working age population share to 5 to 55%. However, this decline can be countered through strategic interventions. Key strategies include increasing female labor participation rates. Further solutions involve embracing automation and implementing targeted immigration policies. A cumulative population decline of is greater than or equal to 20% poses a significant threat to India's future. A working age population share falling below 50% would further exacerbate the problem. A total fertility rate, TFR, locked at is less than or equal to 1.3 for decades, signals severe demographic challenges. These demographic shifts would severely constrain India's long-term economic growth potential. The decline in the working age population would lead to a shrinking labor force. These demographic factors would also negatively impact the nation's ability to recruit for its army. Infrastructure bottlenecks can significantly impede India's economic expansion. Limited employment absorption capacity poses a major constraint on growth. Water and land stress are critical environmental factors that could restrict development. The quality of education is a key determinant, affecting long-term growth potential. India faces an inflection risk related to population growth and economic development. If urban congestion and job creation fail to keep pace with population growth, negative outcomes may arise. These negative outcomes could include increased poverty and social instability. Conversely, a rapid decline in the total fertility rate, TFR, 2, is less than or equal to 1.5 presents another risk. A TFR decline without corresponding productivity gains will increase fiscal pressure. This fiscal pressure stems from a shrinking workforce supporting a growing elderly population. The United States is a global leader in innovation. It possesses deep and well-established capital markets. The U.S. is at the forefront of developing frontier technologies. This combination drives significant economic growth and development. The U.S. innovation ecosystem supports both established companies and emerging startups. The U.S. military operates as a preeminent global power projection force. This capability allows for the deployment of military assets and personnel worldwide. A key component of this power projection is a network of extensive alliances. These alliances provide strategic access and support for U.S. military operations. Robust logistics are essential for maintaining a global military presence. The U.S. military maintains sophisticated logistical systems to support its forces abroad. A population decline of 10–15% below its peak is potentially manageable for the United States. Maintaining a working age population share of 5–56% is also considered within a manageable range. Immigration can help offset population decline by increasing the labor force. AI, automation, and productivity growth can further mitigate the impacts of a shrinking workforce. A cumulative economic decline of 25% or more can significantly weaken a nation. A working age population share falling below 50% poses a demographic challenge. A total fertility rate, TFR, consistently at or below 1.3 indicates a shrinking population. The combination of these factors can erode tax capacity, defense capabilities, and R&D ecosystems over decades. Several factors are identified as potential constraints on U.S. economic growth. The affordability of housing is a significant limiting factor. The cost and availability of childcare also present a barrier to growth. Immigration throughput, referring to the efficiency of immigration processes, impacts economic expansion. The adaptability of the defense industrial sector is another factor influencing overall growth potential. Population growth is a key factor influencing living standards. If population growth outpaces productivity and housing expansion, living standards decline. Insufficient productivity fails to generate enough goods and services. Inadequate housing exacerbates living costs, and overcrowding, population décline, conversely, pose different challenges. Without sufficient immigration, population decline strains Social Security, Medicare, and military recruiting. Brazil is a large South American country with a diversified economy. Its economy is significantly based on commodities and agriculture. Brazil has substantial potential in clean industry sectors. The country's economic diversity spans from traditional sectors to emerging green industries. Brazil's economic landscape presents opportunities for growth and diversification in various sectors. Brazil possesses a capable military force with regional influence. The Brazilian military is undergoing modernization efforts to enhance its capabilities. Modernization is focused on strengthening both air and maritime domains. Air Force upgrades include new aircraft and advanced technologies. Maritime advancements involve modernizing naval vessels and equipment. These efforts aim to maintain Brazil's strategic position in the region. Brazil faces a potential population decline of 8–12% below its peak. The working age population share could decrease to 55%. These demographic challenges can be offset through strategic economic policies. Formalization of the economy is a key factor in recovery. Increased productivity across sectors will also contribute to offsetting the decline. Selective immigration policies can further mitigate the impact of population decline. A cumulative economic decline of 20% or more can severely impact Brazil's stability. A working-age population share falling below 50% poses a significant demographic challenge. The hollowing out of key metropolitan areas exacerbates economic and social problems. These factors undermine Brazil's industrial capacity and potential for growth. Reduced industrial scale and demographic shifts can negatively affect defense readiness. Brazil's economic growth is constrained by several key factors acting as a ceiling. Fiscal capacity limitations restrict the government's ability to invest in growth-enhancing initiatives. Low productivity levels across various sectors hinder overall economic efficiency. Inadequate logistics infrastructure increases costs and reduces competitiveness. Deficiencies in the education system limit the development of a skilled workforce. Brazil faces an inflection risk where demographic aging could outpace economic development. This risk is amplified if formal job creation lags behind the aging demographic. Insufficient logistics upgrades can further hinder economic growth. The combination of these factors may lead to stalled economic growth in Brazil. Unmanaged urban decline poses an additional threat to industrial clusters. Weakened industrial clusters would further exacerbate Brazil's economic challenges. Nigeria possesses significant economic potential due to its resources and population. Infrastructure limitations pose a key constraint on Nigeria's economic growth. Foreign exchange, FX. Instability presents ongoing economic challenges. Governance hurdles impede Nigeria's ability to fully realize its economic potential. Dynamic services and creative sectors offer promising avenues for economic diversification and growth. Nigeria maintains a notable military presence within its region. This presence is significant in terms of personnel and equipment. However, Nigeria's military capabilities face certain limitations. Sustainment challenges impact the overall operational effectiveness. Intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) gaps also exist. These factors collectively affect Nigeria's capacity for prolonged and comprehensive military operations. Nigeria's core challenge is effectively managing its rapid growth. The narrative of decline is not entirely accurate. A controlled slowdown can be beneficial for the economy. This slowdown is contingent on creating jobs and improving infrastructure. When paired with job creation and infrastructure development, a modest slowdown can be neutral or positive. True population decline in a country is a rare demographic event. However, specific conditions could trigger a significant population decline in Nigeria. Conflict and brain drain are potential drivers of this decline. A 15–20% loss of the working-age population could severely impact recovery. The collapse of major metropolitan areas would further exacerbate the situation. Under these circumstances, Nigeria would face substantial difficulties in recovering its population. Nigeria faces several key factors limiting its economic growth potential. The pace of job creation is a significant constraint on broader economic advancement. Inadequate energy and infrastructure development act as major impediments. Education and security challenges further contribute to Nigeria's growth ceiling. Nigeria faces a critical inflection point related to its population growth. If population growth exceeds job creation and infrastructure development, negative outcomes are likely. These negative outcomes include increased poverty, unemployment, and social instability. Conversely, if jobs and infrastructure keep pace, Nigeria's large population can become a significant economic advantage. Russia is currently operating as a war economy mobilization state. The nation is actively adapting to international sanctions. This adaptation is crucial for maintaining economic stability under pressure. However, Russia face significant structural contraints. These constraints are primarily in the technology and finance sectors. These limitations pose challenges to long-term economic growth and development. Russia maintains a large military force with extensive combat experience. Significant investments have been made in advanced military technology, including drones and missiles. These investments enhance Russia's offensive and defensive capabilities. However, ongoing military operations have led to considerable attrition pressures. Logistical constraints also pose a significant challenge to sustained military effectiveness. These factors impact Russia's overall military strength and operational capabilities. Russia faces a challenging demographic situation characterized by a persistent low total fertility rate, TFR. This low TFR makes it increasingly difficult to mitigate the effects of population decline. Immigration from neighboring countries can partially offset the decline, potentially cushioning up to 10%. Increased productivity can also help to mitigate the negative impacts of a shrinking workforce. A cumulative economic decline of is greater than or equal to 2025% would significantly impact Russia's economy. A working-age population share of less than 50% indicates a shrinking labor force. A total fertility rate, TFR, is less than or equal to 1.3 suggests a rapidly declining birth rate. Talent flight exacerbates the situation by draining skilled workers and professionals. These factors combined would entrench fiscal and industrial stress, along with severe manpower shortages. Several factors limit Russia's potential economic growth. International sanctions impede access to global markets and financial resources. Restricted access to advanced technology hinders modernization and innovation. Demographic challenges, such as an aging population, impact labor force participation. Limited capital formation constrains investment in infrastructure and productive assets. These factors collectively act as a ceiling, suppressing Russia's long-term economic expansion. Russia faces an inflection risk due to demographic challenges. Continued aging of the population is a key factor in this risk. Emigration further exacerbates the demographic challenges. These demographic trends reduce industrial capacity. Military replenishment capacity is also negatively impacted. This occurs even if headline output appears stable. Australia is an advanced economy characterized by its strong institutional framework. The Australian economy is rich in natural resources. These resources contribute significantly to Australia's export revenue. The service sector forms a major component of Australia's economic activity. Key service industries include finance, tourism, and education. Australia's economy is supported by robust and transparent governance structures. Australia possesses a highly capable and technologically advanced military force. The Australian Defence Force, ADF, is deeply integrated with key allies, enhancing its operational effectiveness. A significant emphasis is placed on maritime and air power within the ADF's strategic framework. This focus ensures Australia's ability to project power and maintain security across its maritime domain. Australia's defence industry is experiencing growth, supporting the ADF with advanced equipment and technologies. This domestic industry development contributes to Australia's self-reliance and strengthens its overall defence posture. Australia faces a potential population decline scenario. This scenario involves a population decrease of 8 to 10% below its peak. Alternatively, it could manifest as a working age share of 5–55%. Such a decline can be offset through strategic skilled immigration policies. Productivity gains are also crucial in mitigating the impact of population decline. A cumulative population decline of is greater than or equal to 18–20% poses significant challenges for Australia. A working age population share falling below 50% would also create major issues. These demographic shifts would undermine defense expansion goals. A shrinking tax base would further exacerbate economic and strategic vulnerabilities. Australia's growth is subject to certain ceiling factors that limit its potential. Housing capacity is a significant constraint, affecting population accommodation. Skilled migration intake also acts as a ceiling, influencing workforce expansion. Industrial scale further limits growth, impacting production and economic output. Australia faces an inflection risk due to demographic shifts. This risk is driven by a potential slowdown in migration, combined with an accelerating aging population. Reduced migration decreases the influx of working-age individuals. An aging population increases the proportion of retirees dependent on support. These demographic trends create manpower constraints, impacting the labor force available for defense industrial ambitions. Fiscal constraints also arise, as a smaller workforce supports a larger dependent population, limiting resources for defense spending. The comparison table assesses economic performance across different countries. It identifies recoverable decline thresholds for each country's economy. The table also specifies unrecoverable decline thresholds, indicating critical economic limits. Current power levels, reflecting present economic strength, are detailed. Growth ceiling risks, which may hinder future expansion, are also evaluated. This comprehensive data provides a comparative overview of economic stability and potential challenges. India faces potential population decline scenarios with varying degrees of impact. A recoverable decline involves up to a 10% population decrease and a working age population of 5–55%. An unrecoverable decline is characterized by a 20% or greater population decrease and a working age population below 50%. Economic growth in India is tempered by infrastructure limitations, job creation challenges, and water scarcity. The United States faces a potentially recoverable economic decline of 10–15%. This recoverable decline is associated with a working age population of 54 to 56 years or older. An unrecoverable decline of 25% or more is linked to a younger working age population under 50 and a total fertility rate, TFR, of 1.3 or less. Despite being an innovation leader and global military power, the U.S. faces growth ceiling risks related to housing and immigration throughput. The recoverable economic decline in Brazil is estimated to be 8–12%. This recoverable decline corresponds to a working age population of 5–55%. Unrecoverable decline is estimated at 20% or greater. This unrecoverable decline corresponds to a working age population of less than 50%. Nigeria faces a recoverable economic decline if the slowdown is modest and manageable. An unrecoverable decline is projected with A is greater than or equal to 15–20% loss of the working age population. This unrecoverable decline is driven by conflict and brain drain. Nigeria possesses high economic potential, supported by its regional military strength. Growth is capped by risks related to job creation, infrastructure development, and security concerns. Russia faces a recoverable economic decline of up to approximately 10%. An unrecoverable decline could reach or exceed 20–25% under certain conditions. These conditions include a working age population with less than 50% participation, a total fertility rate, TFR, of 1.3 or below also contributes to this decline. War mobilization and sanctions further constrain economic growth, creating emigration, aging population, and limited tech access. Australia, situated in Oceania, is facing potential economic downturns. A recoverable decline is estimated at approximately 8–10%. An unrecoverable decline could reach or exceed 18–20%. This unrecoverable decline is associated with a working age population below 50%. Australia is classified as an advanced economy with a capable military. Growth ceiling risks include housing market challenges and skilled migration issues. Maintaining a strong working age population is vital for the U.S. economy. A robust working age share supports economic growth and stability. This demographic is essential for productivity and innovation. Focus should be given to policies that sustain and enhance this critical segment. Maintaining a strong working age population is crucial for economic growth and debt sustainability. Immigration helps sustain the working age share of the population. Affordable childcare and housing are essential for supporting working families. Investing in productivity enhances economic output and supports long-term growth. Defense industrial capacity is significantly dependent on the vitality of metropolitan areas. A skilled labor force is also a critical component of a robust defense industry. Demographic decline poses a risk to the stability of defense supply chains. This decline can lead to a hollowing out of essential industrial capabilities. Therefore, demographic trends directly impact the effectiveness of industrial policy. U.S. military projection capabilities are influenced by various demographic factors. These demographic factors directly impact the available pool of military personnel. Population size and age distribution are key considerations. Educational attainment and health standards also play a significant role in military readiness. Manpower readiness is fundamentally linked to the size and availability of youth cohorts. The capacity to recruit and maintain adequate personnel levels depends on these demographic trends. Automation technologies are increasingly being implemented to address manpower challenges. Artificial intelligence, AI, also plays a role in optimizing resource allocation and operational efficiency. However, automation and AI cannot completely eliminate the need for human personnel. Human involvement remains critical in areas such as logistics, maintenance, and complex operational tasks. Partner demographics significantly influence how burdens are shared within alliances. Alliances with aging populations may prioritize technological solutions. These alliances may also focus on deterrence strategies over maintaining large ground forces. This shift reflects an adaptation to demographic constraints and resource allocation. The graph visualizes the working age population percentages over the last 50 years. The data includes trends from India, the US, Brazil, Nigeria, Russia, and Australia. Each country's working age demographic shift is represented by a distinct line. The x-axis represents time in years, spanning the past half-century. The y-axis indicates the percentage of the population within working age. the scene displays a comparative bar chart. The y-axis represents the old age dependency ratio, typically expressed as a percentage. The x-axis lists 6 different countries. Each country has a corresponding bar, indicating its old age dependency ratio. The height of each bar visually represents the ratio of elderly dependents to the working age population. This visualization allows for a direct comparison of demographic aging across nations. The visualization will compare total fertility rate, TFR, trends across different countries. A line graph will display TFR data for India, the US, Brazil, Nigeria, Russia, and Australia. The graph will illustrate how fertility rates have changed over time in each country. This comparison will highlight differences and similarities in demographic trends. Analyzing these trends provides insights into population growth and societal changes. The visualization displays the percentage change in population from its peak for each country. A world map is used to represent the geographical distribution of population changes. Each country is color-coded to indicate the magnitude and direction of its population delta. Positive percentage changes indicate population growth from the peak. Negative percentage changes signify population decline from the peak. This visual representation allows for a quick and intuitive understanding of global population trends. Increased female labor participation can significantly boost India's economic growth. A larger workforce leads to higher overall productivity and output. Greater female employment contributes to increased household income and spending. This stimulates demand for goods and services, driving economic activity. Enhanced female participation can also improve human capital development. It promotes education and skill building among women, benefiting future generations. Automation can address labor shortages in India's manufacturing sector. Automated systems can perform repetitive tasks, reducing reliance on manual labor. This leads to increased production efficiency and output. Implementing automation can ensure consistent quality and reduce errors. India's targeted immigration policies aim to attract specific skills and expertise. These policies can alter the demographic structure by increasing the proportion of skilled workers. Targeted immigration may lead to regional disparities in population distribution. The influx of specific groups can influence cultural diversity and social integration dynamics. Economic growth in certain sectors may be accelerated due to the availability of specialized labor. Policy adjustments are necessary to manage potential challenges related to resource allocation and social cohesion. Immigration policies significantly influence the size and composition of the U.S. working-age population. Policies that encourage immigration can increase the working-age population, filling labor market gaps. Restrictive policies may lead to a decrease in the working-age population and potential labor shortages. The skill-based immigration policies affect the educational attainment and skill levels within the workforce. Family-based immigration policies can impact the age distribution and dependency ratio of the working-age population. Changes in immigration enforcement and border control can affect the availability of workers in certain sectors. The U.S. is facing a potential decline in its workforce due to demographic shifts and other factors. AI and automation technologies offer a way to mitigate the negative impacts of this decline. Automation can fill labor gaps by performing tasks typically done by human workers. AI can improve productivity and efficiency, allowing a smaller workforce to achieve more. AI-driven systems can optimize processes, reduce errors, and improve decision-making. Strategic adoption of AI and automation can help the U.S. maintain economic competitiveness despite workforce challenges. Productivity growth is a key driver of economic expansion in the United States. It directly impacts the overall standard of living and economic competitiveness. Demographic challenges, such as an aging workforce, can hinder productivity growth. A shrinking labor force may lead to slower economic output if productivity remains stagnant. Technological advancements and innovation are crucial for offsetting demographic headwinds. Investing in education and skills training can enhance workforce productivity and mitigate negative demographic effects. Formalizing informal labor in Brazil increases the number of registered workers. Registered workers contribute to social security and income tax revenues. Increased tax revenue expands Brazil's fiscal capacity. Expanded fiscal capacity enables greater public investment in social programs. Brazil faces demographic challenges, including an aging population and declining birth rates. These demographic shifts can lead to a smaller workforce and slower economic growth. Productivity improvements, however, can help offset these negative impacts. Increased productivity means producing more goods and services with the same or fewer resources. Technological advancements, education, and efficient resource allocation are key drivers of productivity growth in Brazil. Selective immigration policies can target individuals with specific skills or expertise needed in Brazil. This targeted approach can fill labor shortages in key sectors, boosting productivity. Attracting skilled workers and entrepreneurs can stimulate innovation and technological advancement. Selective immigration can also increase tax revenues, contributing to economic growth. However, careful planning is needed to ensure that selective policies align with Brazil's long-term economic goals. Nigeria faces rapid population growth, necessitating effective job creation strategies. Job creation is crucial for absorbing the increasing number of people entering the workforce. Increased employment can lead to economic empowerment and reduced poverty levels. Job creation can stimulate economic growth by increasing productivity and consumption. It also helps in reducing social unrest and instability associated with high unemployment rates. Strategic job creation initiatives are essential for managing Nigeria's demographic challenges and fostering sustainable development. Infrastructure development is crucial for Nigeria's economic growth. Improved infrastructure enhances connectivity and reduces transportation costs. Reliable infrastructure attracts foreign investment and stimulates local businesses. Better infrastructure supports the growth of key sectors like agriculture and manufacturing. Infrastructure development creates jobs and improves the overall quality of life. Strategic investments in infrastructure are essential for sustainable economic development in Nigeria. Russia faces significant demographic challenges, including a declining birth rate and an aging population. Immigration from the near abroad, former Soviet republics, has become a crucial factor in addressing these challenges. This influx of immigrants helps to offset population decline and replenish the labor force. Immigration contributes to Russia's economic growth by filling labor shortages in various sectors. However, immigration also presents challenges related to social integration and cultural adaptation within Russian society. Demographic decline poses a significant challenge to Russia's economic growth. Productivity improvements can offset the negative impacts of a shrinking workforce. Increased efficiency and technological advancements drive productivity growth. Investment in education and training enhances workforce skills and productivity. Strategic policies promoting innovation and automation are crucial for mitigating demographic decline. Skilled migration significantly contributes to Australia's economic growth by filling critical labor shortages. Migrants often bring specialized skills and expertise that are not readily available within the local workforce. This influx of talent boosts productivity and innovation across various sectors of the Australian economy. Skilled migrants also contribute to government revenue through taxes, further supporting economic development and public services. Australia faces demographic decline, including an aging population and falling birth rates. Productivity gains, achieved through innovation and efficiency, can counteract the economic impact. Increased productivity means more output per worker, offsetting a smaller workforce. This can sustain economic growth despite demographic challenges. Inadequate infrastructure poses significant limitations to India's economic growth. Transportation bottlenecks, such as congested roads and railways, impede the efficient movement of goods. This results in increased logistics costs and delays in production and distribution. Insufficient power supply and unreliable electricity grids disrupt industrial operations. Limited access to clean water and sanitation affects public health and productivity. These infrastructure deficits collectively hinder investment, productivity, and overall economic competitiveness. India faces significant water stress, impacting key sectors. Agriculture, a major employer, is highly vulnerable to water scarcity. Reduced water availability leads to decreased crop yields and agricultural productivity. Water stress also affects the industrial sector, which relies on water for various processes. Industries such as manufacturing, power generation, and textiles face operational challenges due to water shortages. Overall, water stress poses a threat to India's economic growth and sustainable development. Housing affordability significantly impacts the U.S.'s ability to attract and retain talent. High housing costs in major cities can deter skilled workers from relocating or remaining in the U.S. Unaffordable housing leads to financial strain, reducing disposable income for essential needs. This financial burden can decrease job satisfaction and overall quality of life, prompting talent to seek opportunities elsewhere. Companies may struggle to recruit top candidates if salaries do not adequately compensate for housing expenses. Addressing housing affordability is crucial for maintaining a competitive workforce and fostering economic growth in the U.S. Child care affordability significantly impacts labor force participation in the U.S. High child care costs can deter parents, especially mothers, from working. Unaffordable child care leads to reduced workforce participation and economic productivity. Government subsidies and employer support can improve child care affordability and boost labor force engagement. Brazil's fiscal capacity is constrained, impacting public investment. Limited fiscal space restricts infrastructure development projects. Education investments are also hindered by fiscal constraints. These limitations affect long-term growth and human capital. Nigeria's economic potential is significantly constrained by its inadequate energy infrastructure. Limited access to reliable electricity hinders industrial growth and productivity. Many businesses rely on expensive generators, increasing operational costs. Insufficient power supply discourages foreign investment and economic diversification. Lack of energy infrastructure also impacts social development, limiting access to education and healthcare. Addressing these energy deficits is crucial for unlocking Nigeria's full economic capacity. Limited technology access acts as a significant constraint on Russia's economic growth. Restricted access hinders innovation across various sectors of the Russian economy. This limitation impacts the modernization of industries and infrastructure. Reduced technological advancement affects Russia's global competitiveness. Consequently, economic diversification and sustainable development are also impeded. Limited housing capacity in Australia restricts the number of skilled migrants the country can accommodate. Insufficient housing leads to increased living costs, making Australia less attractive to potential migrants. The shortage of affordable housing options impacts the overall quality of life for skilled workers and their families. This constraint on housing supply ultimately limits Australia's ability to fill critical skill gaps through immigration. Urban congestion in India leads to significant economic losses due to delays and reduced productivity. Increased traffic congestion results in higher fuel consumption and increased transportation costs. Air pollution is exacerbated by congestion, leading to respiratory problems and health issues for residents. Congestion contributes to increased stress levels and reduced quality of life for commuters. Emergency services face delays in reaching their destinations, impacting response times and public safety. The cumulative effect of these factors hinders economic growth and sustainable urban development in India. The U.S. Social Security system faces potential strain due to population decline. A declining population can lead to fewer workers contributing to the system. Fewer contributions may make it difficult to support the growing number of retirees. This imbalance can create financial pressure on the Social Security Trust Fund. Potential solutions involve adjusting contribution rates, benefit levels, or retirement ages. Unmanaged urban decline can significantly weaken industrial clusters in Brazil. Urban decline often leads to infrastructure decay, impacting industrial operations. Deteriorating infrastructure increases transportation costs and inefficiencies for industries. Increased crime rates in declining urban areas can disrupt industrial activities and supply chains. The quality of the workforce may decline due to reduced access to education and healthcare. These factors collectively diminish the competitiveness and sustainability of industrial clusters. Immigration reduces the available workforce within Russia. This directly impacts the industrial sector's ability to maintain or increase production levels. A smaller workforce translates to fewer personnel available for manufacturing and resource extraction. Reduced industrial output subsequently limits the replenishment of military supplies and equipment. Emigration also leads to a loss of skilled workers and professionals crucial for technological advancement. The decline in skilled labor further weakens Russia's capacity to innovate and produce advanced military technologies. Australia's aging population presents a significant demographic shift. This demographic trend leads to a shrinking workforce and an increased dependency ratio. A smaller workforce can constrain the labor pool available for defense industries. Reduced labor availability may hinder the expansion and modernization of defense capabilities. Increased healthcare costs associated with an aging population can divert government funding. This diversion of funds may limit investment in defense industrial projects and innovation. Education quality significantly influences India's economic prospects. A skilled workforce, fostered by quality education, drives economic growth. Improved education enhances productivity and innovation across sectors. Higher education standards attract foreign investment and boost global competitiveness. Addressing educational disparities promotes inclusive economic development in India. The U.S. military faces significant recruiting challenges due to evolving demographic trends. A shrinking pool of eligible candidates impacts recruitment efforts. Decreased interest in military service among young adults poses an obstacle. Rising obesity rates disqualify a substantial portion of potential recruits. Increased competition from the private sector for skilled individuals intensifies the challenge. India's job creation is currently lagging behind its population growth. This discrepancy can result in a surplus of available workers relative to the number of jobs. A higher unemployment rate and increased competition for available positions may arise. This imbalance can potentially lead to economic and social challenges within the country. Medicare's financial stability is closely linked to the ratio of working age contributors to beneficiaries. Population decline reduces the number of working age individuals paying into the system. A shrinking workforce supporting a growing elderly population increases the strain on Medicare. Fewer contributions and more beneficiaries can lead to funding shortfalls and potential benefit cuts. Addressing population decline is crucial for maintaining the long-term viability of the U.S. Medicare system. Job creation rate is a vital indicator of economic health in Nigeria. A faster pace of job creation typically correlates with higher economic growth. Increased employment leads to greater consumer spending and investment. Higher employment rates can reduce poverty and income inequality. Conversely, slow job creation can hinder economic progress and exacerbate social issues. Government policies and private sector initiatives play a crucial role in influencing the pace of job creation. Russia faces a significant demographic decline characterized by a falling birth rate and rising mortality. This decline results in a shrinking workforce, reducing the available labor pool for industries. Industries experience labor shortages, leading to difficulties in maintaining production levels. Reduced labor supply can increase labor costs as companies compete for fewer workers. Aging population increases dependency ratio, putting strain on social security and healthcare systems, indirectly affecting industrial investment. The combination of these factors contributes to industrial stress, hindering economic growth and productivity in Russia. A slowdown in skilled migration can negatively impact Australia's economic growth. Reduced skilled migration leads to labor shortages in key sectors of the Australian economy. These shortages can decrease productivity and innovation, hindering economic advancement. A decline in skilled migrants can also affect Australia's military capabilities. Skilled migrants often fill critical roles in defense industries and technology sectors. Therefore, a reduction in skilled migration may weaken Australia's ability to develop and maintain advanced military technologies and strategies. A comparative graph is used to visualize the potential GDP impact. The graph illustrates the unrecoverable decline in each country. Each country's potential GDP impact is represented comparatively. The graph highlights the magnitude of economic risk. This visualization aids in understanding the relative scale of potential losses. The comparative format allows for direct comparison between countries. The graphic will compare the potential impact on military manpower across different countries. Demographic scenarios will be visualized to show varying effects on manpower. Each country's potential military manpower will be assessed under different demographic conditions. The visualization will highlight the disparities in military manpower based on demographic factors. This comparison will provide insights into the demographic challenges faced by different militaries. Tax base erosion refers to the reduction in the amount of income, property, or other economic activity that can be taxed by a government. Demographic decline, such as falling birth rates and aging populations, can significantly contribute to tax base erosion. A shrinking workforce leads to fewer income taxpayers, reducing government revenue. An aging population often requires increased government spending on healthcare and social security, further straining resources. Visualizations can illustrate the potential impact of demographic decline on tax revenues in different countries. These visualizations help policymakers understand the scale of the challenge and develop appropriate fiscal strategies. Depopulation in major metropolitan areas can lead to a decline in national innovation rates. Concentrated urban centers often serve as hubs for knowledge sharing and collaboration. A reduction in population can diminish the density of talent and expertise. This can ultimately stifle the creation and dissemination of new ideas and technologies. Defense, industrial ecosystems rely on a skilled workforce for innovation and production. Demographic decline reduces the pool of available talent, creating labor shortages. This scarcity of skilled workers can hinder research, development, and manufacturing capabilities. An aging population may also lead to a decline in innovation and adaptability within the ecosystem. Ultimately, demographic decline weakens the defense industrial ecosystem's capacity to meet national security needs. Logistics constraints significantly impact military effectiveness across different countries. Limited infrastructure, such as roads and railways, restricts troop and supply movement. Geographical factors, like mountains or deserts, pose logistical challenges for military operations. Inadequate supply chains can lead to shortages of essential resources, weakening military capabilities. Attrition pressures significantly impact military capabilities across nations. High attrition rates can lead to a reduction in experienced personnel. This loss of expertise can degrade operational effectiveness and readiness. Countries facing attrition may struggle to maintain force size and technological advantage. Ultimately, attrition affects a nation's ability to project power and ensure national security. Replenishment capacity in industry and military sectors is affected by demographic changes. Aging populations lead to a decrease in the available workforce for production and service roles. Emigration further reduces the skilled labor pool, impacting manufacturing and defense capabilities. These factors combined can significantly diminish a nation's ability to rapidly replace losses in critical sectors. Alliance burden sharing refers to the distribution of costs, risks, and responsibilities among member states. Partner demographics, such as population size and economic strength, significantly influence this distribution. Larger, more prosperous nations often bear a greater share of the alliance's burden. This is due to their greater capacity to contribute resources and project power. Conversely, smaller or less wealthy partners may contribute less, relying on larger allies for support. Aging allied nations may shift defense strategies. This shift involves prioritizing technology investments. Emphasis is also placed on deterrence capabilities. This approach reduces reliance on large ground forces. Technology and deterrence offer cost-effective defense. Demographic shifts can significantly alter a nation's economic vitality. These shifts also impact a nation's ability to project military power. Key demographic tipping points include changes in age distribution. Understanding these tipping points is crucial for strategic planning. It is crucial to recognize the potential negative consequences of demographic decline. Proactive policies are needed to mitigate these adverse effects. These policies should aim to address the challenges posed by an aging population. Sustainable growth strategies are essential for long-term economic stability. A comprehensive approach is required to ensure a prosperous future despite demographic shifts. The end screen sequence signals the conclusion of the video presentation. Typically, the title card is displayed prominently on the screen. The title card often includes the video's title and associated branding. Credits are shown, acknowledging the individuals or teams involved in the video's production. The end screen may also feature calls to action, such as links to related content or social media.